Hey guys, how we doing? I'm Dave Lanzalone, the newest member of the Lush Life team, and we just wanted to take some time over here over the next few weeks to talk to you guys about the charitable aspect of the distance learning program that we're doing. We're just going to hang out for a couple minutes, have a couple more people hop on, and then get into the fun part. We've got Kristen Davis and Mara here from CORE. And so they're just going to be talking to us a bit about their program and how awesome it is and how they're able to help people in our community. Just want to say, as many people may have already seen, in response to this pandemic, Lush Life has begun our Portland Cocktail Week distance learning program, which has been digitally creating the content that's traditionally provided at Portland Cocktail Week. So if people stay tuned over the next several weeks at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have some amazing technique focused classes covering multiple topics, including maceration, sustainability, and acids in cocktails, as well as a few health and body focused classes to keep everyone in their best bartending form. Because we realized that we would be nothing without the amazing bartenders and restaurant staff that's been so deeply impacted right now, Lush Life's partnered with several different nonprofits that have stepped up in a huge way. For every Portland Cocktail Week distance learning video we create, our sponsors are making a $100 donation to one of 4 organizations: CORE, which is here with us today, the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation, Another Round, Another Rally, and HERD. These organizations have been instrumental in getting aid to those that need it in these uncertain times. Over the next several weeks, we'll be spotlighting these organizations to let you know the work they're doing and how you can help them in their mission. Our first charity partner that we have the pleasure of sitting down with is CORE, Children of Restaurant Employees. Since 2004, CORE's raised more than $6 million and granted support to more than 700 families across the industry and the country. Contributions from their corporate members and individual donors allow CORE to provide grants that keep our families safe, healthy, and happy. Joining us today from CORE are Kristen Davis, the program director, and Mara Lee, one of the founding members. Thank you again for taking the time to join us today, ladies, and thank you so much for the amazing support CORE has given to the community. Sure. To get us started out, would you mind introducing yourselves and telling us how you became involved with CORE?
Yeah, I'll jump in first. So first things first, I wanted to thank everyone at Campari and Campari Academy, as well as Lush Life Productions and Portland Cocktail Week for bringing all of us together, right? I mean, we can't thank you enough for selecting CORE as one of the 4 charities to benefit from the Distance Learning Center, but more or less for taking the time to bring so many great people together to learn and obviously stay connected. So that's really important. Again, my name is Mara Lee. I am a founding member of CORE. Within the organization, I serve on the board of directors. I'm chair of the marketing committee, and I also serve on the events committee. For those that may not know, I know Dave kind of rolled through just some stats, but CORE, which means Children of Restaurant Employees, we're dedicated to serving the food and beverage service employees with children, whether either the working parent or the child and family is navigating through a medical diagnosis, an injury, an illness, death, or even a natural disaster. We'll get into kind of more details regarding COVID-19, but that in a nutshell is who we are and who we continue to kind of evolve to be. So, Kristen?
Yes, so I am Kristen Davis. I am the program director at CORE, and what that means is basically I manage the program where we're granting out funds to individuals who work in the food and beverage service industry who are navigating one of those experiences that Mara just described. So that goes from the beginning of the grant process applications through sending out payments and managing our team. So I originally came into the program actually as a grant recipient myself, so I understand fully the degree of impact that something like the COVID-19 crisis has on the food and beverage service community. I've spent about 15, almost 20 years in the business myself, all the way from starting as a Sonic car hop, I believe was my first job, to being a bartender and managing in a locally owned restaurant here in Nashville for years. So we originally came into the CORE family as grant recipients. Like I said, my daughter is 6 years old now, healthy as can be, but during her infancy did go through open heart surgery and cancer. So she's a cancer survivor and she's doing very well. We're actually five years cancer free this month. So we're super happy about that, and that's a big milestone in the cancer world. So we're super thrilled about that. But it led me down this amazing path of being able to now give back to other families that are experiencing something similar to what we did while working in the industry that we all love so much. So, and I would also like to piggyback on what Mara was saying, our gratitude for hosting us today and letting us tell more people about our program. Our hope is to always spread awareness so those in need know that we exist and that we're here to help.
Mara, as the founder, what inspired you to create the organization, and how has CORE grown since you started it off?
Yeah, so it's, again, not to date myself, I know we were touching on just how we're tied to the hospitality industry, which really kind of is where it all started. But I've been working in this industry for almost 20 years on the hospitality and entertainment side, right? So, I was managing and selecting bands for hip hop groups for Budweiser, True Music Live, to managing Earth, Wind and Fire and Chaka Khan. And then I got into, the national account world of building beverage programs. And that was around 2004 when CORE was founded. And so, throughout the next, 15 or 16 years, I've just been so rooted on sales and marketing in the industry, on the agency side, supplier side, importer side. So I've just been able to touch just so many parts of this business to understand how important these organizations are. So just kind of to dive in, but in May of 2004 in Chicago, where you are, it was during the National Restaurant Show. CORE was founded by myself and 4 others. John Necrash, who at the time was a vice president for Sky Spirits, which is now Campari. Larry McGinn, the president of IMI Agency. Paul LeConte, who is with Diageo on the national account side, and Stan Novak, who was the vice president of HMS Host, which is kind of one of the largest airport concessionaires. We were sitting at Nola's, which is in North Avenue, and I think it now is Lily's Barbecue. I mean, this was like years ago, right? 16 years ago. And we just started discussing a lot of different things, again, just conversations, how we could create a nonprofit. And that's kind of where the idea was born. Fast forward to several hours later at 3 or 4 a.m. at the Lodge off of Division Avenue, for those of you that know it, we were mapping out our business plan on bar napkins. Just before I kind of dive into kind of what the motivation was, one fun fact, as I said, CORE turns 16 this May 15th. So next week, this guy might be getting his learner's permit soon. So watch out, world. So we're feeling strong about it. But as I said, at Nola's, we got into a conversation about industry folks we knew, right? Bartenders, waitresses, chefs, especially those with families, like who, if something happened to them or their child and they were forced to take off of work, 1, they wouldn't be making any money because they would be missing their shift. And 2, because at the time, and still I think it's relative today, most independents and restaurant and bar groups didn't offer insurance to service and hourly employees. And so if something was, and if something was life altering in the sense like a car accident or a crisis where maybe the child needed an emergency surgery, as Kristen was talking about, who was going to cover it? And so we started to piece these ideas together, and all these individuals, serving as the front lines and faces to our alcohol brands and day in and day out. And same with the back of house, no one had their or their child's and their family's backs. And so at that time in the early 2000s, I know it was way back, way back when, there was a lot of money to be spent and brands were spending big money. So our goal was to build this organization that would speak to these big brands and companies to want to help the children of those food and beverage service employees that essentially help all of us and help all of them by delivering these experiences at bars and restaurants every day. And as you can imagine, with the 5 of us being these full-time industry professionals and not experts at nonprofits, we had a lot to learn. So just fast forward to a few weeks later, myself, I believe it was Larry, we flew out to California to meet with the executive team of Make-A-Wish Foundation to see if we could link arms with them. 1, to just learn about nonprofits, and 2, to kind of gain some credibility and national recognition as an organization until we could get on our own feet. So at first we were granting wishes to food and beverage employees' children that were kind of linked to Make-A-Wish. So if a chef's son was terminally ill or whatnot and had the wish to go cook at a culinary school, maybe we would sponsor that and we would grant that. So that partnership was kind of short-lived, only because we found we really wanted to be and have the ability to support children and families with what they actually needed, which was not necessarily a wish or a trip for the child, but maybe it was paying for daycare or a funeral or helping rent or buying medication, all of these things, which myself included, we take for granted sometimes. And you touched on this a little bit, Dave, but since 2004, CORE has raised over 6.5 or close to $6.5 million, and we provided to support to over 900 families, which really jumped up from that 700 number that you mentioned. And the cool thing is in 49 states, unless Kristen has a surprise, and we've donated to Wyoming, right?
Still needing Wyoming. So if you know someone in Wyoming, send them our way so we can hit that 50 state goal.
So we're a board of 12 and growing, a full-time staff of 3. We have 3 independent contractors, an agency on board to help us with the CORE COVID relief program, and over 100 CORE ambassadors around the country. So just to kind of there's just so many hands in and hands on this. It's just been unbelievable and humbling to myself as a founder. So
yeah.
Amazing, and this works fantastic. But how has CORE adjusted to the recent events to help the hospitality industry currently?
Yeah, so I'm happy to jump in here on this. So basically, we're staying true to our original mission in that we are caring for families who are working in the industry that have experienced a major medical diagnosis of a parent or child, death of a parent or child, or loss of home, major damage to home due to fire, flood, other natural disaster, something like that really makes a large financial impact. Regarding COVID-19, we are helping those that have a positive diagnosis of COVID-19 or someone living within their home does, and then also awarding grants to those who are the most vulnerable in the community right now that are also working in the food and beverage service industry. So if children who have severe asthma, families where someone has an autoimmune disease where they really have to be extra cautious about reintegrating back into society as some states are currently. Some are still very much in lockdown, but our goal is really to provide assistance to those most vulnerable in the industry in all situations, and then especially right now during COVID-19. So for our purposes, there would have to be someone, like I said, that are diagnosed officially in the home or that fall under our regular program categories and criteria.
Excellent. And if a person is in one of these categories and does have need, what is the best way to reach out and get help from CORE right now?
So the best way to reach out to CORE for assistance is to go to our website, which is coregives.org. And right there on the website, there's an apply tab or a tab to refer a family. So whatever the situation is, if you know a family in need that you think would fit our criteria, or if you yourself want to apply for assistance for your own family, you can do each one of those right there on our website under the Apply tab. So that's the best way to do it. People are always feel free to email info@coregives.org if you have any questions regarding the program or the qualified criteria that we have, any questions about the program you have.
And some of you that are just more, I guess, comfortable in use of social media, all of our handles on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are @CoreGives. So if you feel that you want to message us via those platforms as well, we do check those somewhat regularly. I know our staff is very, very busy going through a lot of these applications, but we kind of at least try to utilize all of those platforms to just raise awareness as well as educate on what's going on.
Thank you. And again, the work you're doing, amazing to help those in need. And for the people that maybe have been fortunate enough to not been as badly affected by the pandemic, how can people support CORE's mission right now?
So, well, there's a few things, and I'll jump in. I think the most important piece is one, raising awareness. I think this pandemic has kind of taught us a lot, not only how to adapt, but as well as pivot. And I feel like that's the word for 2020, is to make sure that we're not only serving the families of food and beverage service employees in need, but we're also listening. As I touched on, we have a tremendous support system stemming from national accounts, from the brands, the operators, distributors, which has been a large part and source of our income, our donations, and fundraising over the years. And we're really grateful that we've linked arms with Lindsay and Lush Life and all of you a handful of years ago. And we partnered up with the Econo Tour, which is really like our first opportunity in so many different cities to build this relationship and awareness with the bar community. which I honestly believe we were lacking at the time. And we still have a long way to go. And I think these opportunities and consistent engagement will kind of help bring us closer together. And the same goes for the back of house, right? Our future in speaking and awareness and raising support, we need to make sure we're having those conversations with the back of house, with line cooks and chefs, distributors, you know, equipment folks as well. And so right now, if those of you are looking to support financially, of course, we need donations. We need to help so many families in need. For those of you maybe in the future that would like to get involved to be an ambassador or at least learn a little bit more about that, we definitely have a pretty kind of robust program, not only just to kind of train you, but to make you feel confident on how you can just effectively help the organization, not only in fundraising, but also helping raise awareness.
And to also expand on our ambassador program there, I did want to say our ambassador program is a really great tool for people across the country to help us. With our office being in Nashville, Tennessee, and us being such a small staff, as Mara's already mentioned, how small we are, we really utilize our ambassadors to be extension of our core office. That goes through about an hour training, and you learn all the ins and outs and how to speak about core and what we do and who we help, and you get a really good knowledge base of there. And then you're able to go out into your community and spread awareness about our organization. Ambassadors across the country are connecting us to new donors and sponsorships, and we really utilize and lean on our ambassadors for a lot, and they're extremely valuable to us. So if you have any desire to be an ambassador, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and that information is also on the website, but you can also reach out again at info@coregives.org.
And then for any of you on this chat as well, if you are on the brand side of things or the operations side of things, and you have a larger group, say a company or a brand that wants to get behind core, we can certainly work with you to do certain things like a pour for core, where profits from maybe something on sale, whether it be a glass of wine or a pint of beer, can go back to the organization. We have a lot of different ways, very scalable ways to tie in support to our industry as well as our organization.
Thank you so much. Again, coregives.org, check them out. At coregives are the handles. Ladies, if there's anything else that you would like to tell us about core, we're all ears right now.
I think some exciting stuff, just sharing some of our numbers from the year. It's been a really, while this has been obviously a tragic time in the industry as a whole, with so many of our employees out of work, the awareness of our program has really brought forth a ton of people that would otherwise have already qualified but maybe didn't know about us yet. And that's something that's been really exciting to know, that we are able to reach those families now, and now they're hearing about us. So to date for the year, which is kind of unprecedented, we just hit our surpassed $325,000 granted out just in 2020 alone. We just hit that yesterday, actually. So
it's 130 grants, correct?
Yeah, a little over 130 grants, so 130 families so far, and that's just really between kind of mid-February to now, the majority of those numbers. So we're really dealing with unprecedented amount of families needing assistance right now and falling into our criteria. So it's exciting to know that we can help those families. Obviously we don't want anyone to ever have to need us, but we're here in the event that they do, because we know these situations do happen. And they're not always something that you can prepare for. So, and right now in our queue, we're projecting of just what we have in applications right now, we're nearing 850,000 or so that we know is going to be going out in the next month or month or two. So we're growing rapidly, and the need is always there. So we're doing some big things around here, and we're excited about it.
Yes, we are.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. That again, coregives.org, at coregives, tweet them, retweet them, gram them, do everything.
Do all the things.
All the things.
Thank you for your time today, and take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.